Pay attention to who gets loud when you are struggling, and then pay very close attention to who gets quiet when you start winning. Because in that silence, in that sudden, uncomfortable quiet, you will learn more about the people around you than years of friendship ever taught you. This is not a video about enemies. This is not about toxic people or fake friends in the way social media talks about it. This is about something deeper, something most people feel but can never quite put into words. It is about the strange, revealing moment when your life starts to go right, and the people you expected to celebrate with you suddenly have very little to say. If you have lived this, keep watching, because by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly what that silence means, why it happens, and what to do with that information. There is a specific kind of silence that follows a win, not the comfortable silence between people who know each other well, not the peaceful quiet of a moment shared between friends. This is a different silence. It is tight. It is loaded. It arrives without announcement and sits in the room like an uninvited guest. You get the promotion. The group chat goes cold. You launch the business. The people who said they believed in you suddenly have nothing to say. You lose the weight, close the deal, buy the house, get the opportunity, and the ones you most wanted to celebrate with give you a one-word response, a half-hearted like, or nothing at all. And in that moment, something shifts inside you. Not just disappointment, something closer to grief. Because you are not just losing the celebration you hoped for. You are gaining information you were not ready to have. The information that some people in your life were more comfortable with your struggle than they are with your success. That is a hard thing to sit with. But it is one of the most important things you will ever learn about the people around you. Here's the truth that most people are not ready to hear. Struggle is comfortable for the people around you. When you are struggling, the social dynamic is safe. Nobody feels threatened. Nobody has to examine their own choices. Nobody has to confront the distance between where they are and where they could be. Your struggle keeps the room balanced. But the moment you start winning, the moment the trajectory of your life begins to change, that balance breaks. And people respond to broken balance in very different ways. Some people rise to meet you, they cheer louder, they show up more. They are genuinely moved by your progress because your winning gives them hope for their own. But other people go quiet. And the reason they go quiet is not complicated when you understand human psychology. Your success forces a comparison they did not ask for. It raises a question they are not ready to answer. The question is, if they can do it, why haven't I? That question is uncomfortable. And rather than sit with the discomfort and let it motivate them, some people unconsciously choose a different path. They disconnect from your win. They minimize it. They go quiet. Because quiet is easier than confronting themselves. Not all silence is the same. And it is worth understanding the different ways people go quiet when you start winning. The first is the disappearing act. This is the friend who was always around when life was hard, who called regularly, checked in, showed up. But the moment things started going well for you, the calls got shorter, the visits stopped, the energy shifted. They did not have a fight with you. They just quietly faded. This person was addicted to your need for them. Your struggle gave them purpose and relevance in your life. Your success made them feel unnecessary. So they left not with drama, but with distance. The second is the minimizer. This is the person who responds to your wins with a yes, but. Yes, but the economy's tough. Yes, but let's see how long it lasts. Yes, but you got lucky. Yes, but I knew someone who tried that and it didn't work out. They cannot let a win be a win. There always has to be a shadow cast over it. Because acknowledging your success fully would require them to acknowledge that it was earned. And that acknowledgement costs them something they are not ready to give. The third is the silent observer. This one is subtle. They do not disappear. They do not minimize. They just go unusually quiet. They watch. They see everything. They say almost nothing. This is often the most painful silence, because it comes from people who are close enough to know about your wins, but choose not to respond to them. Their silence is a statement, even if they would never admit it. Here's what I want you to understand about every person who went quiet when you started winning. Their silence is not a verdict on your success. It is a confession about their own internal world. When someone cannot celebrate your win, it is almost never about you. It is about the war happening inside them, between who they are and who they always said they would become, between the life they are living and the life they always planned to live. Your success walks into that war and picks a side, and it does not pick theirs. So they go quiet because they do not know what to say. That does not reveal too much about where they are. This is important because so many people, good, hardworking, deserving people, internalize that silence as rejection, as a sign that they did something wrong, as evidence that they should not have wanted more. Do not do that. The silence of someone who cannot handle your success is not a reason to dim your light. It is simply information. It is data about who is truly in your corner and who was only comfortable when you were beneath them. Receive that information, process it, and then adjust accordingly. Now let's talk about the other side, because this story is not just about who goes quiet. It is also about who stays loud. Pay attention to the people who get more excited about your wins than you expected. The ones who share your news before you even ask them to. The ones who remember the details of your goals and follow up to ask how things went. The ones who celebrate you in rooms you are not even in. These people are rare, and they are precious. They are the ones whose love is not conditional on your struggle, whose loyalty does not depend on you needing them, whose joy genuinely expands when good things happen to you. These are your people. And one of the unexpected gifts of winning is that it identifies them clearly. Because when the room gets quiet, the ones who keep making noise stand out in a way they never did before. Hold those people close. Tell them what they mean to you. Invest in those relationships with everything you have. Because a person who can celebrate someone else's success without jealousy, without conditions, without an agenda, that is one of the rarest and most beautiful things a human being can be. So, practically, what do you do when you start winning and you feel the silence close in around you? Here is what I want you to do. First, resist the urge to shrink. The most natural response to a cold room is to make yourself smaller, to downplay your wins, to stop sharing, to go back to struggling quietly so the room feels comfortable again. Do not do this. Shrinking yourself to manage the discomfort of others is one of the most costly things you can do to your own future. Your wins are real. Your progress is real. You do not owe anyone a smaller version of your life to protect their feelings. Second, stop performing your success for people who are not ready to receive it. There is a difference between celebrating your wins and seeking validation for them. If you find yourself constantly trying to get certain people excited about your progress, ask yourself why their approval matters so much. Win for yourself. Build for yourself. And let the results speak to whoever is ready to hear them. Third, grieve the relationships that the silence has revealed. This is real loss. When you discover that someone you loved was more comfortable with your struggle than your success, that hurts. Give yourself permission to feel that without pretending it is fine. But do not let grief become stagnation. Mourn it. Process it. Then keep building. Fourth, let your circle evolve. You are not the same person you were before you started winning. Your circle does not have to stay the same either. Seek people who normalize success, who talk about growth the way other people talk about survival, who dream out loud and celebrate each other freely. Your environment is either expanding your belief in what is possible or quietly shrinking it. Choose accordingly. Let me bring this home. The moment you start winning, some people will get loud. They will show up. They will celebrate. They will remind you of what you are capable of and fuel you to keep going. And some people will get quiet, not because you did anything wrong, not because your success is too much, but because your growth held up a mirror they were not ready to look into. That silence is not your burden to carry. It is not a sign that you should slow down or shrink back or return to the version of yourself that made the room comfortable. It is simply a a signal that you are moving, that you are changing, that the life you are building is starting to look different from the life people assumed you would live. And honestly, good. Let them be quiet. Let the silence tell you what years of loyalty tests never could. Let it point you toward the people who are truly for you. And then give everything you have to becoming everything you are capable of being. Because the world does not need another person who played small to keep the peace. The world needs you winning out loud, building without apology, and showing everyone still watching from a distance that it is absolutely possible. If this spoke to you, share it with someone who is in their winning season and needs to hear this right now. And if you are new here, welcome. Subscribe and turn on the bell. We talk about real growth, real psychology, and the things people feel but rarely say out loud. See you next tomorrow.